Hey there, it's Brittany, and welcome to the Net Zero Earth podcast. I'm so excited to be your host for this week's episode, where we'll be diving into the latest updates on carbon markets, global economic news, and all things Web3. First up, we'll be taking a deep dive into the world of Ethereum and Bitcoin, two of the biggest players in the crypto space. You won't want to miss this segment as we unpack the latest market trends and developments. And then, we'll be recapping the previous week's economic news, covering everything from the Baker Hughes oil rig count to the latest on export and import prices. Trust me, you'll want to tune in for this one. Followed later by, we'll be looking ahead to the upcoming economic calendar, including a 20-year bond auction, export and import prices, and the 15-year mortgage rate. Stay tuned to find out what these events could mean for the global economy. What's up, fam? I've also got some exciting news on the climate and carbon credit front. Apparently, a Vietnamese company called Tin Than Group has just signed a deal to purchase 1 billion tons of carbon credits. This is a game changer, and we'll be breaking down all the details. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more after this commercial break. And a word from our sponsors, Net Zero Earth. They're using Web3 and blockchain technology to help us all reach our decarbonization goals and find a pathway to net zero. See you on the other side.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Net Zero Earth, an innovative company harnessing the power of Web3 and blockchain technology to pave the way towards a carbon-neutral future. Net Zero Earth is dedicated to assisting organizations and individuals in achieving their decarbonization goals by providing cutting-edge solutions that streamline the process of tracking, reducing, and offsetting carbon emissions. By leveraging the transparency and immutability of blockchain, Net Zero Earth ensures that every step taken towards net zero is verifiable and secure. Their platform allows users to easily monitor their carbon footprint, access a marketplace of verified carbon offset projects, and participate in a global community committed to combating climate change. Whether you're a large corporation looking to meet sustainability targets or an eco-conscious individual striving to minimize your environmental impact, Net Zero Earth has the tools and expertise to help you make a difference. Join the movement towards a greener, more sustainable world with Net Zero Earth.
Hey there. Welcome back to the Net Zero Earth podcast, where we dive into the world of carbon markets, global economic updates, and Web3 news. I'm your host, and I'm excited to share some fascinating developments with you today. First up, let's talk about a massive carbon credit deal that's making waves in the industry. Tin Than Group, a Vietnamese company, has just signed an agreement to purchase a whopping 1 billion tons of carbon credits from an afforestation project in Sierra Leone. This project is run by Verra, a nonprofit organization that manages carbon credit standards. To put this into perspective, this is one of the largest carbon credit deals ever signed. Tin Than Group plans to use these credits to offset its own greenhouse gas emissions as it works towards becoming carbon neutral by 2030. It's incredible to see companies taking such significant steps towards sustainability. Moving on to the world of cryptocurrencies, let's take a look at how Bitcoin and Ethereum are performing. Bitcoin, the king of crypto, is currently sitting at a market capitalization of over $572 billion, with a circulating supply of around 19.4 million coins. Its all-time high stands at an impressive 68,189.63. On the other hand, Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency, has a market capitalization of nearly $225 billion and a circulating supply of about 121 million coins. Ethereum's all-time high is $4,191.70. It's always fascinating to watch these digital assets evolve and grow. Now, let's dive into some economic news from the previous week. The Baker Hughes oil rig count in the U.S. saw a slight decrease from 508 to 506 rigs, a change of 0.394%. While this may lead to a minor positive impact on the stock market due to a potential reduction in oil supply, the overall effect is likely to be minimal. However, if this trend continues and leads to higher oil prices, it could slightly reduce disposable income and affect consumer spending, especially for younger generations like Gen Z and Gen Y. In other news, U.S. export prices saw an improvement, with a 22% change from the previous value of 1.8 to the current value of 1.4. This could have a slightly positive impact on the stock market, particularly for companies with significant international exposure. It may also benefit local economies with a strong presence of export-oriented industries. On the flip side, U.S. import prices increased by 33.333%, from 0.3 to 0.4. This significant increase may lead to a short-term decline in the stock market and could result in higher costs for consumers, potentially affecting spending habits across all generations. Looking ahead to this week's economic calendar, there are a few key events to keep an eye on. We have the 20-year bond auction on April 17th, which could provide insights into investor sentiment and long-term interest rates. Export and import prices data will be released on April 16th, giving us a clearer picture of international trade dynamics. Lastly, the 15-year mortgage rate will be announced on April 18th, which could have implications for the housing market and consumer borrowing. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with a question to ponder. How do you think these economic developments will shape the future of sustainability and the carbon market? Share your thoughts with our community, and let's keep the conversation going. If y'all are enjoying this podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more after this commercial break and a word from our sponsors.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Net Zero Earth, an innovative company harnessing the power of Web3 and blockchain technology to pave the way towards a carbon-neutral future. Net Zero Earth is dedicated to assisting organizations and individuals in achieving their decarbonization goals by providing cutting-edge solutions that streamline the process of tracking, reducing, and offsetting carbon emissions. By leveraging the transparency and immutability of blockchain, Net Zero Earth ensures that every step taken towards net zero is verifiable and secure. Their platform allows users to easily monitor their carbon footprint, access a marketplace of verified carbon offset projects, and participate in a global community committed to combating climate change. Whether you're a large corporation looking to meet sustainability targets or an eco-conscious individual striving to minimize your environmental impact, Net Zero Earth has the tools and expertise to help you make a difference. Join the movement towards a greener, more sustainable world with Net Zero Earth.
All right, folks, that's a wrap for today's Net Zero Earth podcast. We covered a lot of ground, from the latest on carbon markets to global economic updates and even some juicy Web3 news. It's been a blast diving into these topics with you. Before we sign off, I want to give a huge shout out to our amazing community. Your feedback, questions, and ideas are what keep this podcast buzzing. Seriously, you guys rock. Keep those submissions coming, and don't forget to vote on your favorites over at Net Zero Earth. Now let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. Without their support, we wouldn't be able to bring you this weekly dose of awesomeness. So, a big round of applause for our ad submitters. You know who you are. In case you missed anything, here's a quick recap of today's segments. 20-year bond auction. We broke down the latest numbers and what they mean for the market. Export and import prices. We took a deep dive into the data released on April 16th. 15-year mortgage rate. We discussed the update coming out on April 18th and how it could impact homeowners. If you want to learn more about any of these topics, head over to Net Zero Earth. We've got tons of resources, articles, and a vibrant community ready to geek out with you. Well, that's all for now, folks. Thanks for tuning in and being a part of the Net Zero Earth family. We'll be back next week with more exciting stuff to share. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep being awesome. See you next time on Net Zero Earth.
make me smile, smile in my heart.